Where do you feel like things are at with your group so far? Through
Inconsistent would be the first term. There's a lot of good, and then there's a lot of bad things right now. If you look at today's practice, we had some tough situations. A lot of third down and long, a lot of pressure situations. And what we need to do, and what I just talked to the guys about, is, okay, one bad play, how do we respond? How are we going to move forward? How are you going to say, okay, so what, now what? That happened, let's move forward, next play. Let's learn from it, but next play.
You guys as a coaching staff balance pushing these guys every day in practice, but also keeping them fresh for when the games come in September?
Well, I think our plan and the plan that we use as a program has kind of been proven. And you've got to continue to push these guys every single day. But the way that we're protecting ourselves out there on defense, the way that we're staying up, staying off the ground, those are things that are going to make sure that we're getting to that first game healthy, that everybody in this group is getting there healthy. Is that going to be a guarantee? No, it is still the game of football. But we're asking our guys to continue to push themselves, play fast and finish, but still protect their teammates. You know, one of the first things Coach Kleiman said, the Wildcats are not on the schedule this year. So what we have to do is continue to challenge one another, continue to compete, but then at the same time we got to protect one another.
Do you feel like your 5 starters, or do you feel like it might be set? Do you feel like you're still identifying 1 or 2?
No, we're still identifying a position or 2, and we have a couple guys competing for that position, and actually more than one. And if you look back at how I prepare the offensive line, there's a few guys who are going to have to play multiple positions. You know, we talk about putting guys in challenging situations. We talk often about putting them in uncomfortable situations, because you want to try to create an uncomfortable situation out there today so they can handle it come Saturday afternoon. So guys are bouncing around a little bit, and I'd say there's 2 or 3 guys who are competing still for that one position left.
How do you feel about the tackle depth that you have right now?
Some days good, some days not so good, you know, and I'll wait to evaluate the film today. I know we have a couple of young kids who we are going to continue to tell them it's a race to maturity. You know, you've got to continue to grow up. Time is not in your favor. You may not have had the game reps. Hey, that's what it is. We can't control that, so what we need to do is control our focus, control our effort every single day out there.
How's the health of your group in general for this time of year?
I feel pretty good about the health, knock on wood. You know, I hate you asking that question, to be quite honest. However, relatively speaking, I think that with our double rep situation, again, how guys are protecting one another, guys are being smart. There's guys who are getting those heavy legs. Those are those guys who this week is going to be a grind. This week is going to be challenging on them. And that's what we want to ultimately do, and they've got to continue to fight through it.
How much pressure was taken off of your unit with guys like James Gilbert and Harry Trotter getting more running back experience? How did that take anything off of your guys in terms of like, hey, I'm not blocking for inexperienced backs now?
Well, you know, I just look at that tailback room right now, and you know, with some of the freshmen that we have, with some of the additions that we have in this program, you just feel so much better about where you're at. You know, even some of the guys who are returning, who are coming back this spring, they're just playing a lot faster. They're seeing protections better. They're seeing the holes. They're pressing their aiming points a little bit better. Coach Anderson's doing a phenomenal job. And there's a couple guys who I think are pretty electric in that group, and I'm excited. You know, I said, hey, just give them a crease. Give them a bigger phone booth to play in. You know, there's going to be that safety in the fit. There's going to be that extra hat down there. And, hey, give them as much space as possible to do their job. So I feel pretty good about that room right now.
I know you weren't with him last year, but Dalton was kind of the, I guess just the force of his personality was kind of the leader there. It seems like maybe a little bit different dynamic that some of the guys have talked about.
Yeah, and I think it's a great lesson because it's a philosophy of ours. You know, this is kind of one of the things that we've often said at the last place I was at. We are not going to balk on graduation. Somebody goes down, hey, next man up. You know, man down, man up. So I've challenged, we have a senior group, a lot of guys who play Big 12 football within this group, and I've challenged them that they need to step up. They do need to step up. They need to rise to the occasion. Leadership is not, being a captain, being a leader is not an award. It's not a postseason accolade. It's a responsibility, and that responsibility carries a lot of weight, and that's what we're trying to impress upon those guys.
In what areas have you seen the greatest development?
I'm sorry?
What areas have you seen the greatest development?
Finish. Yeah, we're finishing plays a lot better is what I've seen when I look back at the spring, and we're going to try to run more efficient practices. as far as there's a ton of reps, there's guys getting out there, but what we need to do is we're not going to be out here forever. We're not going to do a ton of conditioning at the end of the day. What we explain to them is our conditioning is the way that we prepare. And the way that we prepare, and it's something I talk to the entire team about, is got to be different. You want to have different results, we got to prepare differently.